Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Inside Email. This is a new mini series that myself and Will are going to try. And we're going to be bringing to you an episode, a bite sized episode, 15 to 20 minutes every week, just talking through what's going on in email, what we're seeing, sharing tips, sharing tricks, and just, kind of seeing how it goes really. So, Will, do you want to kick off by just giving an intro to yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Will. I used to be the copywriter at OHM, but I think you guys already know that. And yeah, now I'm the CMO. And yeah, I think today we're talking about the Klaviyo pricing and that sort of like little bombshell that came to welcome 2025.
For sure. So, do you want to kick off by just giving an update on what happened? I think it was about a week and a half ago now, right?
Yeah. So Klaviyo, after many, many years and months of threatening to charge people for the number of profiles that they actually have on their Klaviyo account, they're they're making good on that promise. And I think from the 18th of February, if you haven't done something about it, you're going to be paying for a lot of extra accounts that you weren't paying for previously. So that is the very high level of it. And I think the thing that's probably going to be the most important to people who use Klaviyo or ecom brands.
They want to target kind of the upper end of the market, and they've got so much kind of power. You know, there is no real competitor yet. I know that's kind of changing, and we might want to spend a few minutes talking about that because they have this monopoly power. Essentially, they can just do what they want because you're not going to go to Mailchimp, right?
I don't think I'll ever go to MailChimp, and I don't think anyone else who's serious about email marketing will ever. Not to throw shade at MailChimp, they have been doing some things to try and improve with like the recent Amped acquisition, but it's so big, like you just can't get away from Klaviyo. Everyone else is a competitor to them, but Klaviyo is the main one.
Okay, so we know kind of what's happened. We've got a grace period, so we're filming this on the 4th of February, so we've got a few weeks before this pricing update is rolled out. But what can brands do, super high level? What should they be looking to do to kind of help mitigate, I guess, this pricing increase?
It's kind of like two things. So there's a technical thing that they can actually do, like the actual strategy they can implement. But I think it is actually a case of actively managing your list. So it's making choices about who you actually want to email. So if this is not part of your strategy, and if you're simply just emailing everyone on your list, number one, you're probably doing some sort of like sending reputation damage just by doing that in the first place. But it means that you're not really taking a look at your segmentation. You're not managing that part of your email marketing strategy effectively. So there is a tactic and a strategy that you can implement to not pay what Klaviyo wants you to pay, but it's also like maybe a red flag or a kick in the pants to like be like, oh yeah, I probably should take a look at my segmentation.
I think this is, some could say this is a blessing in disguise, right? Because a lot of brands are just kind of blanket mailing, carpet bombing the list, and this forces you to kind of readdress that unless you don't mind paying, twice the price. So I think, we don't want to get into the specifics of what we're going to do to kind of automate this reduction. But essentially what you're saying is that brands should only be kind of, mailing those active profiles. Is that correct?
I'd say it's a little bit more complicated than that, and I think you actually let our tactic slip there a little bit as well. But yeah, it is that it's taking a look at your list, seeing the active profiles that you have, and then deciding, okay, when I send emails, who do I usually get opens from? Who do I like? What sort of person am I actually trying to contact? I mean, you can emailing everyone on your list is great, and if you're getting like high open rates, like awesome. But are you actually seeing revenue from that? Does it make sense to keep emailing them that way?
Okay. I think there's been some kind of big news. We knew it was coming. But Trump over the weekend, I believe, came out with tariffs for China, Mexico, and Canada. I believe as of this morning, so the evening of Monday, the 3rd of February, Canada have said they will kind of capitulate essentially. And Trump, I believe, has said that he won't put the tariffs in place for those guys or he'll pause them. Now, we have a lot of brands, specifically kind of Canadian businesses that are selling into the US who would be hit with that 25%. I guess, kind of over to you. What do you think is going to kind of happen here? Is it, a bargaining chip from Trump? is this something that brands, need to kind of readjust long term? Do they need to bring manufacturing into the US? Do they need to look at other markets? What do you think?
I think very much like Klaviyo can kind of just do whatever they want. It's a similar situation to Trump. He can do what he wants. And I can't read his mind, and I'm no political analyst at all. I think it's tough to say what brands should do individually, but I think it's not something that they should completely discount or not pay attention to. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
I think this is kind of like a first step in a trade negotiation. And I don't think this is something that will be here to stay, certainly not for Canada. I know there's talk of the EU as well, kind of being next on the list, but I think, Mexico and China might be slightly different. I think Canada should be okay. I think the main kind of point that I would say for brands is make sure that you know the impact. So we have a partner called Helen Assel. She is Canadian based and focused on the kind of fractional CFO part of the ecom puzzle. And I know she's putting out a lot of good resources. So I'd certainly be looking to speak to someone like that to kind of figure out what the potential impacts would be, because a 25% tariff is not to be sneezed at.
Yeah. But I think that's probably just then, trust the experts, find someone that you trust and listen to them.
Cross your fingers and hope that, kind of calmer minds prevail. And these are only kind of temporary, as it looks like it is in Canada.
Sounds good.
Okay. I think the final thing I want to talk about today then is a video that I saw last week from Andrew Wilkinson. He runs a holding company of agencies, SaaS kind of products, quite a lot of different mid-sized businesses. And it was an interesting video because, there's been some updates in the AI space. And essentially he was putting in place a hiring freeze to kind of look at how he can implement AI into his businesses. Did you get a chance to look at that, Will?
Did not, but I'm pretty familiar with Andrew Wilkinson. I think I follow him either on YouTube or Facebook. Yeah, no, very, very interesting. Anything particular from the hiring freeze that you took away?
Yeah, I think it's, how can we use AI, especially in people-intensive businesses, which agencies are? How can we use AI to equip, talent to become more efficient, to do their job better? So that ultimately, those cost savings can then be passed on to customers and they can get a better, high quality work output at a lower cost, which is where I see things are going temporarily.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that it is the case that it's going to be like passed on to the customer, or is it more like agencies first reducing their costs and then sort of like improving margin, right?
I think it's like a two-step impact, right, of what you said as step one. And then just because, in the market as a whole, agencies would be, having higher profit margins, more people would come in and compete. There'll be other kind of lower tier offerings that are kind of fully automated without the people. And I think just overall that leads to a downward pressure on pricing.
I think it's very much a case of massively oversimplified. It's like, let's make our lives easy first, and then we can use it to actually get better results or reduce cost. That's the way that I see it going.
And I know you're working on an AI optimization layer, right, in terms of what we're going to be adding to the service as well.
We're getting deep into the lore of OHM now, but yeah, no, like the way that I see it, which I think is really, really cool, is there's like the big thing, or the kind of, I don't know exactly how to characterize this, but it's very much a case of a lot of people are talking about how to use AI to write good copy or make good content, or sort of like level up what they're already doing on the creative side, which I think is all, it's like cool. Like if AI can write, like 100 really, really good subject lines, fantastic. But I think that where AI becomes very much a game-changing tool is when you actually get into the analytics. So it's not about writing the best subject line. It's about finding the best subject line. Yeah, use that to actually analyze, because I'm no spreadsheet guru, but if I give AI a spreadsheet of a whole bunch of stuff that it can just understand and then give me an answer from that, then great for me. That's the way I'll use it.
So you're going to be bringing Facebook's machine learning black box to email?
Something like that.
Cool. Okay. I think that was it from me. Will, did you have anything else that you thought was worthy of conversation this week?
There's like a whole bunch of things, but I think those were the topics that were probably front page news, at least for this week. So, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. We will be back with Inside Email next week. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you want to see covered, let us know below, okay?
Awesome. Thanks so much.